Hello and welcome to the second half of chapter 30. Piso starts with a whopping exaggeration because he says consensus generis humani, a consensus of mankind, essentially. Hailed Galba as Caesar, and Galba hailed me as Caesar, with all of you consenting. Well, that's not the case. If that were the case, they wouldn't be in the mess that they are now. See, if Republic and Senate and people are but empty words. Interest vestra. That's a Latin idiom that means it is in your interest. Notice you need a feminine ablative singular adjective to express the your. Don't worry about it, you may never see it again. Interest vestra. It's in your interest, my fellow soldiers. Well, they're not, because he's never really served in the army. He's patronising them. That the worst people should not make an emperor. And then he says, look, come on lads, I know that some of you are up to no good. He says, seditio legionum. He said, legionary sedition against leaders, the sedition of legions against their generals or leaders. By the way, dux, it can be a general, it can also, the word dux, refer to an emperor, a supreme head of the armed forces. Audita est aliquando. It's been heard of now and again. People have done things, and I suppose in Germany that's a case in point. The legions there have revolted against Galba. But he says, you, the Praetorian Guard, your faith and reputation to this day have remained untainted. And, he says, Nero quoque vos destituit. And he says, it was another point, Nero it was that left you, not you, Nero. That's not really true. Nero did think about abandoning Rome and going to Egypt for a better life, but he didn't do it. Possibly Piso suggests that Nero, in his head, I think, abandoned the Praetorian Guard. When he came to power, he gave them a massive donative as thanks for more or less single-handedly creating him emperor, and to keep them quiet. And then, as he got more comfortable in his reign, he ignored them. Maybe that's what Piso's suggesting. Rhetorical questions are plenty now. Shall less than 30 traitors and deserters, a cadre of die-hard extremists, assign supreme power, men whom no one would tolerate choosing a centurion or a tribune, never mind an emperor. Shall you allow this example of traitorous behaviour, and in keeping quiet, in allowing it to happen and saying nothing, shall you make this a common crime? We're always told not to translate crimen as crime. Guilt, maybe, is possible, but I'm happy with crime here. So in allowing this to happen, the blame then becomes everybody's, commune crimen. This lawlessness will pass into the provinces, and exitus, a word you're going to need to use twice, and the fallout from these crimes will stick to us. And I think he means there Piso himself and Galba and that elite who will probably be assassinated or exiled. But he warns the soldiers, the exitus bellorum, the fallout from the consequent fighting, will fall on you. Soldiers don't like fighting. It's the last thing they want to do. It's easier to be paid to just dot around in Rome, protecting the emperor, being on guard. But to actually have to fight and risk your life, he says, be careful. Because there will be consequences for this. It could end up being very messy. And then he says, Dator's important now. Nor is what being given for the murder of an emperor, Galba, plusquam more than what is being given to you to be innocent. I think if you translate dator as offered, what is being offered as an incentive for you to commit regicide is no more than what is being offered to you to be guilt-free. Okay. Now, there's a problem there because Galba has got himself in this mess partly because he's given nothing, he's offered nothing, he's paid them nothing, he's not paid them anything to be loyal. So that puzzles us, but now we have this promise. Because our nobis donat even accipietis, you will receive a donative from us for your loyalty, just as from others you'll receive a donative pro facinore for committing treason, facinus, scelus, flagitium. All these words suggest overthrowing Galba as a crime against the state, against Rome. So he finishes with the promise of a donative. We haven't given you one, but of course we're going to give you one. Don't worry. It's just being processed now. It's practically in your bank accounts as I speak, and that's as much as you're going to get from Otho. And don't forget, Otho is a spendthrift. He's a wastrel. Okay, I think I could talk on and on, but I'd better stop. I think that's enough to get you through that second paragraph. Read the notes I provided carefully. Read the textbook that you've got. Look at the notes there. Read zigzag. Take it all in.